Huh. Well, that's awesome. You guys are probably wondering what happened there. You see, folks, that's what happens when you don't make the jump to success responsibly. You see, there I was, staged, as if I was going to make a, punch out from a multi-GP start of a race, and my backblast area was not clear. Sent that tree right into my house. So, I'm just kidding. My drones didn't do that. That happened in the last storms that blew through. But what I do have to talk about is success related. I finally figured it out. I have rewound older motors originally purposed for 4S to be able to handle 6S. Hence birthing the twins. These are twin 180 millimeter frames, and one set running 2206s. Yeah, the DYS 2206 Sam Gook series motors, and an old set of Brother Hobby Tornadoes that I cut the bottoms off. These were 2300 kV originally, and both running, I think, around close to 1750 kV-ish. I haven't done the exact, haven't brought out my digital tachometer to figure out exactly what the kV is, but my best guess, judging by amp draws and what props I have on here and the speeds I'm getting, I would say 1750. So I ended up flying yesterday, and got 6 packs in, comparing one against the other. Excuse the noise, I'm at the firehouse today. And yeah, I had to chop the bottoms of these off to essentially make them naked bottoms to make it easier for me to rewind. Anybody vaguely interested in picking up rewinding their own motors, naked bottoms are the easiest to do. I found removing stators from the bottom of the base, I ended up destroying like 3 motors just trying to figure that out, and I was like, you know what, just leave them on there, rewind them as it is, just be careful about how I did my winds, and the process of winding isn't that bad, but the trial and error part of it, of figuring out how many winds, what gauge wire you want to use, because you can only affect 2 variables on these motors when trying to accomplish a certain kV rating, and those variables is your gauge of wire and how many winds per pole. So, and it's a trade-off. It's a balancing act between, if you go thinner gauge wire, you're able to fit more winds, but you may not be able to get the amp draw, be able to sustain certain amp draws that you want. But the thicker gauge wire lowers your resistance. You're not able to fit as many winds on there. So, and what ended up being the magic number for my 2205s, it was 27 gauge enameled magnet wire, 14 turns per pole, and you follow the brushless motor wiring diagram on how to go about doing it for the Delta series, Delta wound series. And for the 2206s, I guess because the stator's larger, so you're able to accomplish the same resistance. You're able to accomplish the same resistance with 1 less wind. So these are 13 turns per pole. Same gauge wire, and yeah, it worked out. So I got some decent flight footage to follow, and yeah, anybody interested in doing it and taking on this pain in the butt venture, but also probably bringing life to old motors that you were essentially garbage. So yeah, enjoy. All right, first on the list is the 2205 rig. Going to have to forgive the OSD. It's still giving me issues with this Foxeer camera. I had to blow out a bunch of colors and mess with the contrast just to be able to get to not have crazy lines in it anymore. Hence why, but she's a good little flyer though. That, I don't know what happened there. Try that again, try to be smooth. Thing is with this, with no voltage sag, well, little you're less prone to voltage sag, I'm
Golly, I could just be heavy on the throttle and just have fun with the thing. This thing's so daggone fun now. Actually, I think that's what it was. She freaking whips around, I'll tell you that. I tell you, I love this 180mm frame. These things can take a beating. This is a good little drill that I like to set up. It's really easy to do. You just got a double gate on one end and another gate on the other. Doesn't take any time to set up. And you just practice going through different maneuvers at will. These are my tent gates, which everybody hates running because they are smaller than like a regulation size gate, but tell you what, they get you good. When it comes time to actually racing at the multi-GP event, their gates seem big, so good training tool. Whoa! Caught the roof. So still got more in it, but I'm gonna bring it in. That wasn't too bad. I'm gonna move on to the 2206 rig. So the Foxeer Predator. Yeah, man. I'm sticking with Foxeer because I don't feel like. And so let's see if I can fly. I think I hurt this battery my first. I mean, I'm already. When I put this, I had a sneaky suspicion when I put this one on the chart. All right, so here's the real question: which one am I gonna run as my primary? I think I'm gonna run the other one. This is the 2205 rig. I'm going back to it, flying it just to see how she flies. They're similar enough, but they are just a little bit different. I think when I get the camera sorted out on this guy, I don't know. I still don't know which one I'd rather run. Whoa. They are very similar handling. Oops. I still think I'm gonna run the other guy. I guess it. Yeah, if I get the. Actually, the camera is flyable. Whoa. That was a. Whoop. So. Hence why I'm out here trying to work all the bugs out of this thing before race day. No way. I can't believe I made it through that gap. Because there's strings there. That shouldn't have happened. I'm trying to refrain from flying through that gate towards myself. Figure eights. God, this thing is so daggone fun. Whoopsie! I knew I was hitting that. So, and with the 6S, you know, for the price of the 6S, or if I would have had to go to jump up to, you know, either a really high quality 4S or, and if I was going to spend the money on batteries, you know, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to spend the money on some 6S batteries, because I was already on the attempting to learn how to wind my motors anyways, so why not just wind them for 6S, right?
You know, it's crazy. You think that you would it would be easier not to drain your batteries down to you know, below 3.5 volts per cell on 6S, but actually I think it's harder. 4S starts giving you hints that it's going flat, you know, with voltage sag. Your voltage, you know, when you're doing full throttle punches, your voltage sag gets worse and worse and worse. With this, if you start to, when I start to sag on 6S, now granted I've only had about 15 packs on through these, 15 flights on 6S. But if you're running to the point where you start to sag, I think you, at least with me, I've already gone to a point where I'm like hurting the cells, which sucks because I just bought these batteries. So I'm gonna try this battery. This is my newest race day quad. Yeah, impossible to see with this camera. It's the race day quad 1250 ADC 6S. So I'm gonna see how this one flies. Kind of running a pretty quick pace. Probably a lot probably faster than I will on a regular race. Yeah, it's right there. Woo! Crash recovery, thank you. That felt like a sag. Maybe I'm hurting my motors. They're warm, not overly hot, but I don't know, maybe I just need to cool it.
Yeah, it's flying fine. It's just me. Funny how these things work. You're like, man, I'm getting used to matting that throttle, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, I want more. Yeah, that's plenty freaking fast. Ooh, I forgot to turn the fan on my goggles. I'm fogging up! Woohoo! I don't know how I made that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. See if she's hurt. That was a bit of a tumble. Oh, wasn't too bad. A bent prop. So yeah, there it is. I know kind of a longer video, but it's kind of a celebration today because I did it. Freaking did it. I almost gave up on this motor winding adventure because I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I'm by no means any kind of electrical engineer or anything else like that. I'm just a dude from Kentucky trying to do this stuff on the cheap. So those are my rigs, and that's what I'm bringing to the regional qualifier, and hopefully I can fly halfway decent. So yeah.